I'll tell you guys what, I'm actually feeling pretty positive going into the upcoming NASCAR season. And I think a big reason for that is because of the championship format that NASCAR recently unveiled. That alone, in my opinion, is going to make 2026 pretty intriguing. And there's plenty of other things that's going to add to that, like silly season, new venues, and I'm predicting we'll hear some big announcements that's going to be positive for the sport. And speaking of predictions, I got 25 I'm going to list off in this video, so let's just dive right into it. First prediction, Ryan Blaney will win the most races. I remember for years, Blaney was a guy that would get one win a year, and that's all you got from him. And he wasn't performing bad during those years. He would typically run in the top 10, but I think a lot of us was waiting on him to take that next step, and he has in the past couple of seasons. The thing that impresses me most about Blaney and his 12 team is the long run speed. It's absolutely insane how strong they are in this department, and I find it so impressive because everyone always complains about how you can't pass with this Gen 7 car, but Blaney seems to be the exception. Mechanical woes is what held Blaney back in 2025, and if they iron that out, I see him leading the league in wins this upcoming season. Kyle Busch announces he's not returning to RCR in 2027. Man, I hate to say it, but I'm predicting it's going to be another bland year for KFB. I know he's got a new crew chief in Jim Pullman who had a lot of success with Justin Allgaier, but I don't think it's going to be enough to get him back to being competitive weekly. He'll have a better year and may place somewhere between 12th to 15th in points, and if he do win, I think it's going to come at a plate race or he wins a fuel mileage race. And if he does win in that fashion but continues to run mediocre, I don't see him resigning with RCR. There's a lot of potential openings for 2027, and I think Busch is going to start shopping around early unless he and his 8 teams start to become really competitive. But I don't see that happening. Cup leeching is going to be heavy. NASCAR announced that Cup drivers will be able to contend up to 10 O'Reilly races and 8 truck races. It's not going to look like from 2005 to 2016 where you got 20 Cup drivers in the field, but this is more opportunities for Cup drivers to race in the lower series, and I think a lot of them will take advantage of it. Even though the Cup cars are nothing like the vehicles in the lower series, I think any type of track time is valuable because of lack of practice and no testing. Kyle Busch talked about doing more lower series races, probably because he isn't competitive anymore in Cup, and then you got Larson wanting to complete the weekend sweep. So there's some guys motivated to run down there. I don't know why they increased the limit. Most fans don't care for Cup guys coming down because it makes those races very predictable unless a Cup guy is running for a mid to low end team, which is rarely the case. So get ready to see less regulars win this season unless one of them can step up and actually contend with those Cup drivers, kind of like what Corey Heim and Connor Zilisch was able to do last year. Ram gets 3 wins this season. Hell fucking yeah, we finally got a new manufacturer in NASCAR. Well, at least in the truck series, but it's still dope to see. Kaulig will be the only team with Ram and they'll have 5 of them on track. I heard a lot of people say they'll struggle, but I disagree. The truck series is sort of a spec series, so I could see Ram being able to contend right out of the gate. I see somebody winning in the All-Star truck. Justin Haley will snag a victory along with Brandon Queen. Denny Hamlin will surpass Kyle Busch on the all-time wins list. Yeah, this is also me saying that Kyle Busch doesn't really do anything this season. Hamlin made me look dumb as hell last year. I had this dude missing the playoffs and getting 1 win after he missed the playoffs. I thought he was going to have a 2022 Martin Truex deal happen where he'll be in the top 10 in points but will have no wins and would get pushed out of the playoffs all because of a bunch of people below him won. But that wasn't the case. He led the freaking league in wins, and honestly, I see him clicking off 4 to 5 this season. I don't think the way he lost the championship last year would knock the win out of his sails. His dad would be the big motivation. As of recording this video, the news broke that Hamlin's parents were involved in the fire. His dad unfortunately passed away after suffering serious injuries. Hamlin is going to have a passenger in his car all of 2026, and it will be his dad telling him to go get more. Prediction number 6, Connor Zilisch will win a Cup race in his rookie year. It's going to come at a road course unless he just pulls a Trevor Bayne and wins the Daytona 500 to kick off his rookie season, but I think if it doesn't happen at that race, it's definitely going to happen at a road course. Some of y'all may say, well, SVG is standing in his way, but I feel like Connor Zilisch can push SVG down unlike the rest of the Cup field. Now, I do think everyone will make progress and get closer to where SVG is at, but Connor Zilisch has proven that he's already on SVG level in a way. Just look at the battles they had in Xfinity. Connor has come out a few times victorious. Now I get it, he has to learn these cars, but he's kind of proven that whatever he hops into, he can adapt quickly. He already reminds me of drivers like Tony Stewart, AJ Foyt, and Kyle Larson. People forget how fast he was in his first cup race at COTA. He started off kind of mid-pack, but right before he got involved in a wreck, he was running in the top 15, and they had just reported he was the fastest car on the track. Had he not gotten involved in that incident, he probably would have been part of that great battle we saw at the end. It wouldn't surprise me to see Zilisch in victory lane this season. Let's talk about another road course ace, SVG. I think his road course dominance will slow down. He's still going to win a couple of these motherfuckers, but it's not going to be easy. Like I said, I think his competition is going to continue to make gains on him. Larson and Bell gave him some go at the Charlotte Roval, and he got Connor Zilisch to deal with now. I also think Austin Cindric would be one of those that will be in striking range of SVG because he's recently done some V8 supercar racing, and I'm 100% positive that he picked up on some things he can bring over to NASCAR. So yeah, I think SVG is going to have to work a little harder to win these road courses. Win it by fucking 16 seconds? Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen this year. Layne Riggs will dominate the Truck Series. Corey Heim is gone, but I don't think that means the Truck Series just became wide open. Layne Riggs was second best to Heim in 2025. I was watching a video over the offseason about a daily downforce called the 2025 Truck Series without Corey Heim, and the wins don't stick out. He only would have had 3, which is one more he actually would have gotten, but in this fantasy, he would end up getting 10 stage wins. I don't think this team is going through any changes, at least with the 34, and if that's the case, I see Riggs getting about 6 wins this season, and since the championship format isn't a joke anymore, he'll be a series championship contender. Yeah, he's gonna have to deal with Christian Atkins, Caden Honeycutt, and Ty Majeski, but I think Layne Riggs is gonna come out on top. 5 drivers will still mathematically be in title contention by Homestead. The 10 race chase is back. It's no forced eliminations, but throughout the 10 weeks, teams are going to be eliminating themselves. And when the finale comes around, I think it will still be 5 drivers alive for the championship. So pretty much how 2004 and 2006 went. This Gen 7 car has made everyone closer, and majority of the field has never raced under this system. Also, with points available to grab during the race, I think at least this year, it's going to make things pretty tight. Now, with that being said, it could also be the opposite where locking up the title is very possible. Of course, it depends on what everyone does. This year, I'm predicting it will be close, and I'm going to say 4th and 5th. Yeah, they'll have a mathematical shot, but it's going to take a lot for them to win the championship, while 1st through 3rd will have a much better shot at winning the title. Alex Bowman will sign a contract extension to stay with Hendrick Motorsports. Everyone is always waiting on Bowman to get the boot from Hendrick, and I don't know why. Is he on par with his superstar teammates? No, but he does enough to validate that he belongs. He's the 4th Hendrick car, yes, but compared to other drivers that were the 4th Hendrick car, he's actually done the best. He's not back there running in the 20s. To Bowman's defense, he's had some things that held him back, like injuries and just random shit like failing tech after the 2024 Rover race, which got him kicked out of the round of 8 and gave this bastard another life. Anyway, he'll perform good this year. He'll get a win and be somewhere between 5th to 7th in points, and that will be enough for Hendrick to extend him for another year or 2. So if you think Bowman is going anywhere after 2026, I'm predicting he stays put at HMS for a few more years. Kyle Larson will grace the front cover of NASCAR 26, whether it's him on the cover solo or with other drivers, kinda like how the NASCAR 25 cover looks. Yeah, Byron is the cover star, but Blaney and Bell are future on the cover too. Ever since Larson won a championship, I always thought he belonged on the front cover of a NASCAR video game. Now, people will say, well, it's because of his 2020 incident, and it's like, come on now, it's been over half a decade since that's happened. Larson has become one of the biggest names in NASCAR since he got with Hendrick. He's the closest we got to having a superstar in NASCAR nowadays. I think iRacing should take advantage of that while Larson is in his prime. Not to mention, as of this recording, he's the defending champion, so it would make sense to have him as the cover athlete for NASCAR 26. Next prediction, Dodge. I think it's finally going to happen. We're going to get that new manufacturer NASCAR has talked about since like 2015. It seemed like it's bound to happen just hearing all of the chatter and also seeing Ram come into NASCAR this season in the Truck Series. It seems aggressive to target 2027, but you look at Kaulig's Cup program this year and they pretty much not going to have any manufacturer support from Chevy. And if Dodge wasn't coming in real soon, I don't think they would want to put up with that for multiple years. Kaulig is setting themselves up for when Dodge does come into Cup, and they'll be the flagship team. So yes, I do think Dodge is going to make a push to join the Cup Series in 2027, and it's going to get announced this year. Denny Hamlin will turn babyface. Oh, I forgot, some of you probably don't watch wrestling. He's going to start getting cheered. No, I don't think I sound crazy. Had I said this a few years ago, then of course, but it's so many reasons why fans are about to start backing Denny. 1, the lawsuit. A lot of NASCAR fans are against NASCAR because, well, look where the sport has been for a while. People hate the current leadership. This trial got ugly for NASCAR. They made themselves look pretty bad. And while yes, a settlement did happen, NASCAR took the L. The ugly truth came out, and a lot of this wouldn't have happened if Hamlin and his team didn't sue NASCAR. You look at how he lost the 2025 championship. Under that format, he did everything right, but it was taken away in a brutal way, and he lost. Many people were pulling for him that day. Even people that had their favorite driver in the title fight wanted Hamlin to win his first ring, and he lost in an ugly fashion. Hamlin had to unfortunately deal with tragedy, losing his father during the offseason. I think all of this just makes fans have sympathy for him going into this season. He's also running out of time as a Cup Series driver. He got one more season after this year and then he's done unless he decides to stay for another season, but so far he seems committed to 2027 being his last year. Yeah, there's going to be some boos coming his way, but the cheers are going to overshadow it. Denny will become somewhat of a fan favorite in 2026. Chris Buscher will finish top 5 in the points. NASCAR is easing up on the chaos when it comes to the championship, and this will benefit someone like Chris Buscher, who is a pretty consistent driver. No RFK cars made the chase last year, but most of them still turned in pretty decent average finishes, especially Chris Buscher. I think when they expanded to 3 cars, it kind of hurt their progression, but 2026 I see them taking a step up in performance. I got Chris getting a couple of wins and placing more than 20 top 10s this season. Buscher has been the best performing driver at RFK for some years now, and that will continue in 2026. No Austin Hill controversy. Seems like every year Austin Hill finds himself in a mess, whether it's knocking Maya Snyder lights out, feuding with Sheldon Creed, who was his teammate at the time, and proceeding to do stupid shit like this and not taking accountability. Now, after saying all of that, you would think he would continue going into this year, but I think he'll quiet down. I know everyone gets mad when he wins at super speedways, but that's not actual controversy unless he wins it by going under the yellow line or something. He just knows how to plate race really well, and RCR gives him the cars to show off his skills. But yeah, I think it'll be a quiet year for Austin Hill for the first time since he's been in Xfinity. Ryan Sieg will finally get an Xfinity win. The team is switching to Chevrolet, which is not the first time they've done this, but this time they would have Hendrick power under the hood. Not RCR power, Hendrick power, and I feel like that would give them the extra kick they need to go out there and win. The Xfinity field is not all that. I mean, you got Justin Allgaier, Jesse Love, Austin Hill, who are the big contenders, and then there's everyone else. Some guys are in good equipment and still trying to figure things out, and some just flat out suck. Connor Zilisch is out of the series, and yes, you're going to have the Cup guys invade a little bit more than usual, but I think when it's just the Xfinity guys on track, he will be up there. I always felt like Ryan Sieg had the talent but doesn't have the equipment to show it, and this move to running Hendrick engines will help him out. Obviously a plate track is his best shot, but I could see him contending for a win at a different track type too. He's going to be strong this year. Corey Day will step up. This dude receives a lot of flack and it kind of confuses me because last time I checked, Corey Day came into NASCAR with no pavement experience. He's a young driver and not everyone's going to pick it up right away. Fans don't have any patience with young drivers nowadays. It was his first full year on pavement racing. Now, if he doesn't progress this upcoming season, then yeah, he'll deserve the criticism. But for now, give the dude a little bit more time. I'm not a Corey Day fan, I just think the fans are kind of being unfair to the dude. I'm positive he learned a lot last year and he'll take that into this year, and what also help him is being in the car every week. Spire Motorsports will break out. This is a team that has been on the rise. The so-called mini Hendrick team knocked on the door a lot last year, and the driver on that team that did the most knocking was Carson Hocevar. Dude made a lot of noise last year and got in trouble quite a bit while doing so, but he put his name out there and I don't think he's slowing down at all. I got him winning a race, which shouldn't sound crazy to y'all because once again, look what he did last year. Carson Hocevar is heading into year 3 of his Cup career, and that's usually when the driver starts to put it all together. I saw a poll recently saying who would have a better 2026 season between Connor Zilisch and Carson Hocevar, and to my surprise, the poll was very close. Yes, Connor will be a threat at the road courses this season, but he got to get used to these Cup cars on the ovals. Meanwhile, Carson has 3 years of experience. Equipment wise, Trackhouse is ahead of Spire, but not by much, and I feel like that gap is going to shrink even more this season. Michael McDowell will win as well. someone that's really good at super speedways and road courses. He should have won Texas last year, but forgot how to drive once he got to the lead. And it actually seemed like he had something for SVG at the Chicago street race until he had a mechanical failure. And oh yeah, there's Daniel Suarez. He'll have a better season than 2025, but not by much. I don't see him winning anything. Suarez just isn't a cup caliber driver in my opinion, and he better off racing in one of the lower series if he wants to see more success. Outside of him, Spire will be pretty good this year. The Cup champion average finish will be under 10. I feel like being consistent throughout the season is going to matter again, and drivers are going to work very hard on trying to be consistent. For years under the knockout style format, consistency didn't really matter. A lot of drivers would do a bunch of YOLO moves to try to win, and a lot of times it would backfire on them. All you needed was to win at the right time and you were good to go. A bad day didn't matter. But with a 10 race chase, this format is going to require you to be consistent if you want to not only make the chase, but to win the championship. Cleveland's McFarland will score a top 5 in an ARCA race. Most likely will come at a super speedway, but I can see it happening at a non-play track too. Something I really liked seeing from him last year at Bristol was him moving his line around. He wasn't just glued to the bottom. He seems to be working really hard at this and getting better, and in my opinion that hard work will pay off with him snagging his first career top 5. For the first time in years, we will see a super speedway race come down to fuel mileage. No, I'm not talking about to make it to a stage end, I'm talking about for the win. The 2017 Daytona 500 is the last time we saw a plate race end on gas mileage. The year stage racing was implemented. I just think we're due for one, and I feel like it's going to happen this year. SVG will contend for an over win. His haters ain't gonna like this one. I'm kinda shocked people think this is super unrealistic. All you gotta do is just go back and watch the 2025 Clash at Bowman Gray, and he was running really well in that race, and mind you, he hadn't even made 15 starts at this point. He showed some flashes on the ovals. Richmond, he was running extremely well and had his own unique line going, and it was working. Then I look at New Hampshire where he was in the top 10 until he got involved in a wreck. Martinsville, he finished 14th, and a lot of these runs happened later in the season. It's almost like someone needs time to learn instead of just calling him trash despite him being a fucking rookie. Shane recently talked about how they tried different setups after they were eliminated in the chase and found something he really liked, so that explains the uptick in performance along with Shane just learning more about oval racing. It's not going to be a mile and a half, but I think he's going to find himself contending for a win at a short track. All of those races where he ran well at were at that track type. If Trackhouse takes a step forward this year, I can definitely see this happening. Chicagoland will be a lot of people's race of the year. This is a track that was just entering its prime right before they stopped going there. Chicagoland was a decent track for many years, but around the mid 2010s, it started putting on some really good racing, especially 2018 and 19. The fact that the 2019 race was good, even with that weak ass high downforce low horsepower package, just speaks volumes on how great that track has become. And with the Gen 7 car and the track being really worn out, I think we're about to see cinema. The teams don't have any notes with this car at that track, and the Gen 7 track record on mile and a half is pretty damn good, so I'm predicting that this race will be an absolute banger. Homestead will boost the finale ratings by quite a bit. The championship race since 2020 has been a very tough watch. One of those reasons is because it's been held at Phoenix, and that's a track where the racing typically isn't all that. I could think of worse tracks out there, but Phoenix just isn't it, especially when it comes down to hosting a finale. Homestead is so beloved by the fans, and I think that alone is going to have people actually tune in because of the on-track product. Add on top of that, we now got a format that's much more legitimate, so that should help ratings as well. Alright, and for my last prediction, predicting the champions. This is something I usually don't do because of the format in the past. It came down to one race, so I didn't even bother trying to predict the champion. But I feel like I can do that now with this new format. So the 2026 Cup Series champion will be Ryan Blaney. He will win the most races and he will be very consistent, getting somewhere between 25 to 27 top 10s. This is going to be his best season in Cup by far. Justin Allgaier is going to get his second championship in Xfinity, and Layne Riggs will bring home a second Truck Series championship to Front Row. Alright man, I want to hear from y'all now. What are y'all 2026 NASCAR predictions? Do you agree with some of mine? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to go ahead and roll up out of here. Y'all have a good one. Peace.